gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for July 8th, 2022. I keep forgetting to update that date, so we'll do that eventually. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, GameStop's incompetence continues to hurt good people, and it's been 6,469 days since the last F-Zero game was released. That's me correcting the record after I used a different game to figure out that date last time. Thank you to Zoddle in chat. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamoor Hussain from Giant Bomb and GameSpot, everybody. Tam, how are you doing?
I'm good. You know, it's Friday. It was a shorter week because we had Monday off, right? And
Right,
yet,
correct.
it still has felt like a full week somehow.
Why is it
confusing.
that keeps happening to me? Like the short weeks come up and I get excited for them and they don't feel short at all. That's happened the last like 5 short weeks. I don't know.
I don't really know what's going on. It feels like a trick. I feel like I'm being robbed somehow and I don't quite know what's going on.
It's a trick of Loki where I'm like, I probably just try to fit in the same amount of work is probably what it is. I feel somehow guilty. I'm like, I'm only going to work 4 days this week, so I should shove in more work. That's probably what it is.
That's definitely what I do, and it's probably contributing a lot to it. And also working until the evenings, not a good idea. Don't do that.
Yes,
don't
right.
be like us. Be better.
Yeah. Be better than us for sure. I'm like, I'll get to, like, this job has a pretty like hard cutoff. Jan will always be like, go enjoy your day. I'm like, thank you, janitor. And then I'll go do another one of my jobs where I'm like, I'm running this my own community here. I'll spend some time with them, and it's like, okay, now I'm working all day. Is what it turned into.
Yeah,
not that I'm like, I'm not complaining.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. Yeah. I do this, and then I go and play like not play, but like the Twitch stream or something like that, and I'm just like, and then I'll go and write something, or I'll help someone write something else, and I'm just like, okay, this is take on.
It's like I would choose to spend my time, but it definitely ends up making these even a 4-day week can feel pretty jam packed with stuff. All right, we're gonna get into this mess, but before we do so, let's talk about this show and what we do here each weekday. I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, the catch up, where we discuss the biggest topics consuming the lives of gamers everywhere, and the games that you're going to be playing soon, and maybe even bring some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get input from a bona fide expert who will join me to make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on GiantBomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube, unless you were watching yesterday, in which case I forgot to do that. If you are watching on there, please be sure to hit that like button. It helps people find the show, and we really appreciate it. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's get to the morning mess, starting with GameStop layoffs. This comes from Steven Totillo at Axios. He tweeted the following: breaking, GameStop CFO is out. Layoffs across company, including at GameStop proper and Game Informer. Unclear how hard people have been hit, but doesn't sound small. A number of reductions as per company memo. The first line of the email to team highlights evolving commerce business and launching blockchain group. This company seems bad, Tam. This hit some friends of ours over at Game Informer. And it's seems like it was mostly the younger staff there, which is kind of a shame. Where it's like it's hard to get your foot in the door in this industry, and then to have it sort of ripped out from underneath you is cruel, especially when it comes from a company that seems like, Game Informer works, right? Game Informer is something that has worked for forever. People recognize Game Informer. It's a shame that they are paying the price for a company that doesn't know how to work. It doesn't know how to make it's whatever fortunes it has turn to its advantage. What do you think the future is of GameStop as it stands today?
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like GameStop has become quite not irrelevant, but like diminished in its capacity as a whatever the hell it does these days. Like, I'm sure people are still going there, and the retail is okay. It's helping it survive, but I don't have any confidence that someone at the company knows what they're doing. I would, and with that in mind, I would probably say it's largely irrelevant now. The stuff that is keeping it relevant, it clearly doesn't really understand. I would say Game Informer to a degree is something that is keeping it relevant. At least in a kind of like broader perspective. It's kind of plugged into the industry in a way that no other part of that business is, and I don't see the leadership of GameStop having really any insight into what they need to do and what is essential for their business to grow. It feels like they're desperately grabbing at straws in the dark to try and find some sort of lifeline out there. They're just floating right now, and
Yes.
like all like floundering businesses, the thing that they're doing is attaching themselves to blockchain, which categorically is shit, and it will not work. And GameStop, I've reached a stage where if you're a business and you're like fucking up left, right, and center, and then you're like, we're going to blockchain, I look forward to seeing you fail someday.
Yeah. And so them going to blockchain, what that means is they plan to open up a marketplace for NFTs, and they're going to have some representation of that in their stores. I mean, if you hear that and you're like, what does that even mean? You are on the right path of all of the correct criticisms of what they're trying to do here. Ignoring the fact that NFTs are like the trading of NFTs has plummeted, the prices have plummeted, all that stuff. Even in a world where that stuff was like maintaining, GameStop being like, we are going to insert ourselves into the center of these transactions. It was never going to work. That was never going to be something that people were going to go to. Like, oh, I have a chance of making money on these NFTs. Let me go to GameStop to make that happen.
Yeah.
It's just a silly concept from the ground up.
It is like classically GameStop. It's a perfect indication of that they have no idea what they're doing. They're talking about getting into NFTs at the same time as NFT interest is plummeting, and like the marketplace around it is in free fall, and it's like falling apart. And they're like, we're getting into NFTs. It's like, I don't think you know what's going on. It's ridiculous. And if you manage to get into NFTs, who in their right mind is going to go, I will go to GameStop, the place where all NFTs are traded? No, that's not happening. Like,
it was never going to happen.
This NFT count bet is effectively what they're saying is we are going to take mainstream awareness of us being a video game retailer, because that's what GameStop is, right? Like, its success comes from being a mainstream kind of retailer for video games. Your mom knows what GameStop is. Your grandma knows that if you ever ask for a game, or if they need to buy a video game or some other video game related paraphernalia, they go to GameStop. They are front facing the people's video game retailer. You're effectively saying that you're going to take that audience and leverage them for NFTs, because the people who really care about NFTs are not coming to you. They're trading that stuff online in other places. They got their own creepy little corners of the internet where they do that shit.
Yeah.
So it's not happening for you, man. What are you talking about?
The cynical look here is they think that they are that they can capture the energy that was created by the GameStop meme stock, right? Where people were like, hey, we're going to fight against this one group that is trying to short sell GameStop, and if we all come together, we can fight against that and make some money and turn it into this meme and to the moon and all this stuff. I don't think that if you are a meme that you could turn around and be like, hey, we're all laughing together, aren't we, guys? Now let's trade NFTs with each other at our store and make us part of your like. You are the joke there. Like whether or not people think whether or not people are actually making money off you or not. Some people made some money off of the whole GameStop scenario with the fighting against the short sell. But even then, it's not like people were like, well, I truly believe in GameStop or I have a fondness for GameStop. This is a way to fight the system, and GameStop is just this silly thing onto the side. Like, they were never going to be able to transition that into we are inside this group and a part of them. They were always going to be a meme. So it was a bad plan from the beginning. GameStop says that they try to put this stuff into context by saying they've made over 600 corporate hires since last year, and they say that their plan is to invest in store leaders and field employees. Those are just words. What is that really going to turn into? They've been saying how they are going to improve the store experience and how their store associates are their greatest asset for years now. And I don't know if anyone's walked into a GameStop recently. It hasn't changed. It's still just this weird mishmash of games on the shelves, and then a bunch of Funko Pops, and that's it. And it's just the same as it's always been. So
and the store like experts that they're saying that they are core to their kind of experience. Ask them how they feel about working there. I can guarantee you most of them will be like, it sucks here.
Yes.
And it's not a good time, because I know multiple people who have worked at GameStop, and the kind of like prevailing message has always been, this company don't care about us one bit. So what are you talking about?
The CFO, Mike Recupero, he was replaced by Diana Jeje, but he's only been there for less than a year. He was hired less than a year ago, already out, and he was fired without cause. So he's probably gonna get a pretty big payout, like a huge amount of money, like basically a leaving, an exit bonus, and all this stuff. So it's like they must have really wanted him out. But this signals like we are trying to communicate to investors that we are taking our financials seriously, so seriously that we're ready to kick out this guy we just hired to change course already. It seems panicky, and it doesn't fulfill me with confidence that this company knows what they're going to do next. Just seems like they're going to continue flailing.
Yeah, it just feels like panic. It feels like they just have no idea what to do anymore. So they're just trying everything. And I mean, I don't know. Like, it sucks because there are loads of people that this company employs that don't deserve anything happening. But like at the same time, the thing is falling apart. So I don't know. If I was there, I would be looking around and thinking, shit, man, I should find something else. This doesn't look good. And I know that some people don't have the leisure of doing that, which is the worst part of it. And like going back to the Game Informer part of it, it's awful, because like those, like you said, there's a lot of young people who are now out of a job, and they were just starting to make their mark in the industry and start doing the thing that they probably worked super hard to get into. So that sucks. It's heartbreaking. And thinking of the people who are friends over there that are impacted by this, which sucks. But this company, it's a fucking trash fire, man.
It's a trash fire. And our hearts go out to everyone who was affected by the layoffs, especially the team at Game Informer. They're out on Twitter. They've been tweeting about it today. Some of them were told to wait until today to mention some. I know I saw John Carson and some others out there talking about it today. So give them well wishes. And if you're in any position to give them leads on a potential job, help them out. Do what you can.
Yeah.
A new Terminator game is on the way. It's by Steve Watts at GameSpot. The Nacon Connect presentation ended with one more surprise, a teaser for an upcoming Terminator game. The brief teaser showed a menacing T-800 Terminator skeleton with the logo for Nacon Studio Milan. The unnamed Terminator game will be a post-apocalyptic survival game set between the events of Terminator 2 and the formation of John Connor's resistance movement. The game will feature its own original story that will draw inspiration from events that are portrayed in the film franchise. Tam, I gotta say, they keep trying to bring back Terminator movies to middling success at best. I think that when you translate Terminator to games, one of the best ideas you could probably do is to set it during that future period and not the past period, where it's like we've traveled back to the past to try to kill John Connor or whatever. Give us that future war or the future survival thing. I think this is a really good concept for a video game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good concept. I just feel like
execution might be another thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What was the last good Terminator game?
I think there was that arcade one with the shooter. That's the only good one I can think of.
There are maybe. And that's not even amazing.
No, it's not.
I cannot think of a good Terminator game yet. Maybe the one, was there one with RoboCop or whatever? Some weird crossover.
Yeah, like Terminator versus RoboCop. That's probably a comic, but it's also a game probably. I don't know though. Yeah, the only one I really like is that T2 arcade game, yeah.
Yeah, the arcade game is probably I think that there was Resistance. What was the last? No, is that a movie? I can't remember. It's so confusing. The thing is, the thing is, it's really interesting because, no major studio seems to have any interest in the Terminator franchise. So it just keeps going to these random teams that don't really have a pedigree, that you're just okay, hope that you can do this, Nacon Milan or whatever.
Yes.
But
well, I mean, that's where we're at, right? Because like, was EA, Activision, are they gonna like take a license to make a RoboCop game? No way in hell are they doing that stuff anymore. So we are left with the Embracers and Nacons of the world. They have to step up now. And do we have confidence? We've seen the history of licensed games and of like smaller publishers trying to step up. Like THQ is the big one that comes to mind, where it's like their opportunity to go big just exploded in their faces, and now they don't exist anymore and got sold off and got transformed a million times. So I get all your hesitation here, where it's like, hey, this is a chance for this publisher to step up and Nacon Milan to prove their worth, and that, like, if I had to be a betting man in this situation, I'd bet against them. I would. I hate to say it, but I would.
Can you tell me anything more about Nacon Milan?
No, I can't. I mean, we can look into it, but I can't off the top of my head. Absolutely not. Also, real quick, RoboCop versus Terminator was a Sega CD game, and here, let's bring it up. I'll just go to it. Let's go to news assets, transition. There we go. There you go, everybody. There's your RoboCop fighting maybe Terminators. I don't know. It looks great. It looks great. I'm going to play it now.
Thick as hell. Look at that.
The background, the parallax scrolling always gets me. Oh, he's going behind the building.
So Nacon Milan previously worked on Rims Racing, which is a simulation racing game for motorbikes.
Okay.
And now they're making the Terminator game. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I hate to discount anyone.
Sure.
And, like, I'm sure they're very, very talented, but like you said, if I was a betting person, I would not bet this is going to be good. I feel like, I don't know, who's the owner of the Terminator IP? Is it Fox? It's got to be like Fox, right, or something like that.
Probably.
Like I just don't think they give a shit. Like
Paramount. It's Paramount.
Paramount. Like I feel like there's no prestige around Terminator anymore. Sadly, which is sad, because like in my heart, Terminator 2, one of my favorite movies ever. I think one of the greatest movies ever made. I still have a reverence for the franchise, and I can see it's got so much potential. But I don't think Paramount gives a shit. I don't think anyone. I think like it's also kind of weird, because who in this day and age, only the people who are old like us still kind of attach some sort of reverence to Terminator. Like if you're a youngster now, all you've seen is garbage movies. Even like mostly like good franchises like Indiana Jones, hasn't had a good one in a long time, is in that same spot where it's like, oh, kids don't care about this at all. And I mean, by kids, I mean, 20-year-olds. So it's like, so of course Terminator's in that same situation, because it's had a series of, like, at best, like I said, middling movies at best. Really. The one decent thing it had was the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Right.
That was a TV series that was okay. Yeah.
And also, at this point, pretty old, right? How old is that? It's like at least 10 years old.
That's a while ago. Like, so who are they making this for? Because the people who have the nostalgia for it probably are wised up and know that this is going to be garbage. And that everyone else is like, this is from that franchise that keeps having awful movies, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And so like, who is it? What's going on? Who is this for? I
will say, though, again, that like giving me the future world where I have laser guns and I need to be fighting against Terminator in the post-apocalyptic world, and it's not trying to like, oh, here's Sarah Connor again. Like, it's just like they are part of the lore, but you don't have to deal with them in the game. That stuff could work for me a little bit. Let me ask you. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, here's what you do, right?
Do it. All right, love it.
If I was Paramount, I would take my big bag of money and go over to Capcom and be like, hey, we played Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
There's a character in there called Mr. X. Pretty fucking cool, dude. Can you make a survival horror style game in the future where you play as a human, or maybe even John or Sarah Connor, and then the Terminator is Mr. X and is always coming for you?
Yeah, it's perfect.
And all you got to do is just survive and defeat the Terminator. That is a fucking great concept, if I do say so myself.
It's so good. I'm like, because the whole idea of the first Terminator, like when you're following Sarah Connor, it is a horror film, right? Like she is this helpless woman, and who gets thrown into this extraordinary situation. That is a survival horror video game. That is the same description used for. I love that. Well, Tam, you got to make that happen. I'm sorry, but now you got to leave immediately. Go get on playing, talk to Capcom, make this happen. Do you think that they're going to do a Terminator versus RoboCop? Because Nacon also announced they're working on RoboCop Rogue City, which is coming to PC and console in June of 2023. This is by Darren Bontheus at GameSpot. Nacon has announced that RoboCop Rogue City will launch on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC in June 2023. Based on the classic 1987 film, a new trailer for the game debuted during Nacon Connect's the Nacon Connect event and showed off a few brief snippets of gameplay mixed in with in-game cutscenes. I'm gonna let's cut to this. Let's take a look at this now.
This actually, like, I'm a little more optimistic because we got a look at gameplay. Like,
sure,
we saw some gameplay. It wasn't like nothing there to truly set the world on fire, but I was like, okay, it looks like they've created a city. They got Peter Weller for it. And you know, there's some, you know, cool looking stuff happening, I guess.
Yeah, I think the character models are kind of like, oh, it looks, you know, budget, but you know, not RoboCop. RoboCop looks fantastic in this game, and I'm just like, we're playing as RoboCop. Are they going to try to bring in the satire and to satirize fascism and you know, urban fascism in any way? Probably not too much. This is probably just going to be a RoboCop is cool video game, and whatever. Yeah. Like, we haven't had, if it's good, I'll like forgive a little bit of that, and then if they ever like follow it up, I'll be like, okay, now can we dive into what RoboCop is really about? But
so here's the thing: let's apply the same level of scrutiny to the RoboCop game that we applied to the
let's keep that
Terminator
same energy
game. This is being developed, it seems like, by Tayon.
Mm-hmm.
And they previously worked on the Terminator Resistance game.
Yep. And Rambo the video game, which I remember mixed things about. Yes.
Yeah, and other games including Urban Trial Playground, Heavy Fire, Shattered Spear, 30-in-1 Game Collection Volume 1.
Well, there's a hit right there.
Again,
there's always a chance to prove that you could do better, but it's like,
I definitely want you to prove me wrong. Please prove me. I would love to take the L publicly on the internet. I would love nothing more than a few years from now, whenever these are out, being like, I cannot believe, like, Terminator is Game of the Year, RoboCop Game of the Year. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I mean, so far I'm not betting. If I'm betting, putting down a bet, I'm betting on my side, in my favor.
Right, and it's not to say like there's no obvious path for these games to become good, because I think if you make these games good, they legit just will sell so much better than they would otherwise. Word of mouth works really well in games. If these games prove themselves, like, then this company Nacon can justify having Nacon Connect shows. And if RoboCop is if they put the time and money into it to make it something special, that investment should pay off. I don't think it's I don't think you can survive in this industry just continue to put out like basically crap year after year and be like, get more excited for our crap because we've got better licenses. I think at a certain point you do have to scale up the quality, and I hope that is what's happening with publishers like Nacon and Embracer. We haven't seen the results of that yet, the evidence of that yet, but I do think that the incentives are there to make better games, and hopefully this is the start of that. But we'll see.
And to be fair, like, the Terminator Resistance game was not great, but some people really liked it.
Like, it wasn't complete trash,
fine.
Right?
Yeah, it was like okay, but you know, it did the trick. Here's what you do, Jeff.
Please.
Okay, you travel back in time to around 2011, 2012.
Yep, you
or you could do
cop.
this now. No, you could do this now, and you go to IDOS Montreal, creators of Deus Ex: Human Revolution, and you say, "We've got the RoboCop franchise. Make one of your games, and Mary DeMal, come back from Bioware.
Yes,
please do this."
You're going to write a Guardians of the Galaxy game that's so good that you're going to go work at Bioware. But first, do this for us. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Skull and Bones has been given a November release date. This is by Chris Scullion at VGC. A new cinematic trailer for the game confirms that it will be released on November 8th on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, Stadia, and Luna. It looks a lot like that game that Ubisoft said it was going to be forever ago, Tam. Like they just, hey, it is. We're taking the Assassin's Creed Black Flag sailing stuff, and we are going to make this an online game where everybody can sail together. Where are you at with Skull and Bones? We've been talking about it a lot recently because we've been hearing that this date was going to be announced soon. Here it is, and now where are you at?
I'm glad that it's got its date. I'm glad that it's coming out. I'm glad that we're finally going to be able to see the hard work of all those developers that they've put into it.
Right.
I can't help but feel like it missed its moment. I feel like it now arrives at a time when people have pretty much forgotten its relevance and its connection to the Assassin's Creed franchise, which is probably what a lot of people would have the kind of like interest point that would have brought a lot of people in. Excuse me. I feel like people don't really know what it is anymore. I feel like it's been gone for so long that they have got so much work to market it right now. And I feel like the thing that it is now is, as a pirate game, the vibe of it feels off, if you know what I mean. Like, it feels very self-serious. And in the time that it was gone, the multiplayer pirate game market has been kind of cornered by Sea of Thieves.
And it's silliness, right? Like, it's inherently
and
silly.
It's silliness,
yeah.
but also, like, that has started to happen in pop culture, broadly speaking, if you know what I mean. Like, pirates as a theme aren't like super serious anymore. Like, obviously we had the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff happen a while back, but like Our Flag Means Death is now the biggest pirate thing going around, and it's a little more like light, right? It's a little more fun, and it's so this kind of like really dour po-faced pirate game that kind of looks last gen in a lot of ways. I feel like it's got a bit of an uphill struggle. I'm interested in checking it out, but everything I see of it, there's nothing in me that's like, oh hell yeah, this is exciting. I can't wait to be pirate.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, I needed the Assassin's Creed part of it to maybe if they need to reskin this game and make it a One Piece game.
There you go. Yes, make it truly thrive in its silliness. I think that I'm with you where I just don't know how to get excited about this right now. I'll have to hear if I have a bunch of friends who are playing, they're having a great time, maybe, but I just can't see that happening because of what Sea of Thieves has provided is we're all going to get on this boat together and we're all going to work these different jobs, and then one of us is going to start goofing off, and it's going to cause us to fail, and it's going to be like a really funny thing. This, based on what they've shown us here, this game is not about those interactions. This game is just about going out, doing your tasks, and upgrading your character and your boat and all that stuff. And, and that's kind of the loop that they are focusing on, especially in these trailers. I don't maybe they showed more of it, but like the stuff I've watched has not emphasized, like, here are the fun things you're going to be doing with your friends, even though this game is very much about going out and sailing in a convoy with a bunch of other people. It's like, okay. It feels like they weren't able to figure out what they wanted from this game. And probably that is the main reason it's taken so long for them to finally get it out.
And I also feel like they kind of backed themselves into a corner because Black Flag came out and everyone was like, the sailing part of this is the best part of it. And then someone went, we should make this into a game. We should make this into its own thing. And then it took so long that now everyone's just like, no one cares about that anymore. Like, that was the thing.
It's been a long time since Black Flag.
And they announced it, and they were like, "We're making you. We heard you love the sailing, so we're making it now." And now it's taken so long, and it's like been through such a whole rigmarole that they can't be like, "We cancelled that stuff." They don't feel good about doing that. Like, I think if it was Nintendo would have been like, "No, we're not making that game anymore. We can't." Whereas Ubisoft is like not in a position where they can do that, so they have to follow through because they
specifically with this game,
they announced it, and now they don't want to take the L. So it's just like, we got to follow through. So it feels like it's just gonna come out and like fizzle away, unless it's like maybe we're wrong, but like, and it's like exceptional. But there's nothing in here that I'm seeing that is like exciting. It feels like people were into the pirate fantasy a few years back, and they are no longer into that. And this just feels like it's like a bit poorly timed.
I'll give it its fair shake once it comes out, and
Yeah,
that
100%.
once people start playing it, if I hear positive buzz at all, I will check in on it, or maybe there's a chance I'll check in on it, myself, like during a review period or whatever. But I'll give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
Right now,
Again, I always want games to succeed.
yeah,
100% of the time, I want this to succeed. I would love nothing more than this to come out and everyone's like, "This is fucking amazing," and then I get obsessed with it, and then everyone gets obsessed
I
with
would
it.
love to
I
have a
would
game like this to get
absolutely
obsessed with.
adore
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yes.
I would love that. So I hope it does that. I'm just like, if I'm being realistic, then I'm just not seeing anything that excites me about it.
Right, and it totally feels like, and people in chat keep pointing out this this game was, I don't know if funded is the right word, but it definitely had incentives from the Singaporean government to be made by Ubisoft Singapore, and a lot of those were contingent on them releasing a game. They had to ship a game, and so here we are, and they're putting the game out, and it's hard not to like just draw a line from one point to the other and be like, they are putting this out because they have to, and everything they've shown us feels like that. Now, maybe it's a little bit better than just like they're shipping it out to die or whatever, but it definitely still feels like this thing has been. It's not gotten the love and care that I think a lot of other Ubisoft stuff is getting recently, where like we keep delaying it until we feel like we can at least get some of our money back, especially after what happened with that one Tom Clancy game that came out and sort of fizzled, and they're like, oh, we got to delay everything. This doesn't feel like it's getting that same sort of attention, but whatever. We'll see when it comes out. Stuff happening with GTA 6 and Red Dead Online and the other Rockstar Online games. The two stories here. This first one comes from Joey Carr at GameSpot, and it's about how with GTA 6 upcoming, Rockstar outlines GTA Online and Red Dead Online update plans. But basically, just real quick here, Rockstar Games has issued a new community update for both GTA Online and Red Dead Online. The update mainly goes over what fans can expect during the summer of 2022, but it also lists some updates coming later this year. For GTA Online, it definitely seems like it's getting quite a bit more. It'll still receive weekly updates, and Rockstar has revealed they'll continue to refine the experience for players over the coming months. The developer cited they'll add community-requested experience improvements and upgrades to accommodate the new influx of players from recent current-gen launches on PS5 and Xbox Series X/S. So they're going to keep doing their weekly updates, and in addition to that, they are looking to make sure that things are getting even better for that game. Meanwhile, the Red Dead Online is not getting that same love. Unlike GTA Online, Red Dead Online has been considered a barren wasteland by many in the community. This is evident by the fact that players have recently planned a funeral to commemorate the game's death. While Rockstar is still working on Red Dead Online to a degree, the updates announced in the community update are minor at best, which might be disappointing to those who still enjoy the Western online experience. Now, this is followed up by Rockstar says major Red Dead Online updates will stop as it focuses on GTA 6, and this comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Rockstar Games has stated that it will be winding down major development on Red Dead Online as it continues to work on GTA 6. In an update on its official website, the studio noted as it focuses more of its efforts on the next GTA, it will be focusing less on Red Dead Online. Over the past few years, we have been steadily moving more development resources toward the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series, understanding more than ever the needs to exceed players' expectations and for this next entry to be the best it possibly can be. And as a result, we are in the process of making some changes to how we support Red Dead Online. Basically, reading through the lines there, they are sunsetting Red Dead Online and moving to GTA 6, and I'm just not too surprised about that. I think even before these games came out, I was thinking like there's going to come a time where GTA Online is still going and Red Dead Online is fizzling out, and there's going to come a time when GTA 6 is back in the top 10 each month, or GTA 5 is back in the top 10 each month, and Red Dead 2 is like slowly falling behind it because GTA Online is just so much more appealing to a wider audience, it feels like. Does this surprise you at all?
No, firstly, who is this dude on the screen?
Oh, sorry, let me fix that. Yes.
I was like, is this someone important?
No,
I know this guy.
That's a guy. That's a good man. Talk. Oh, I think he's talking about the Skull and Bones thing.
Okay, cool.
There we go. All right.
Goodbye,
Reforged
friend. Gaming. Good luck. Good luck
Yep.
to you. I hope you.
Goodbye, friend.
Doing well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. Like, I feel like GTA Online is the all-consuming thing now. Like, where
Yes.
Is there anything that I'm surprised that Red Dead Online has coexisted with GTA Online as long as it has, especially with the amount of the disparity in success and the kind of the resulting kind of prioritization that no doubt has happened in within Rockstar. Like you look at something like Red Dead Online and put it out. And I imagine the thinking was, we'll put this out, and if it pops off and it is like immediately shows that it's worth investing in, we'll ensure that we're giving it the time and effort and money that it deserves. But like, it's not gonna pop off in the same way that on GTA Online did next to GTA Online. And like, I'm surprised that it took them this long to be like, okay, we're focusing on GTA Online and other projects right now. Red Dead is no longer a thing. I Red Dead Online kind of like felt like it was the bones of something cool.
Yeah.
And they needed to build. If Red Dead Online felt like GTA Online did when it first came out, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
GTA Online was not great to begin with, and they invested in it, and it became great. But like, they needed to do the same with Red Dead Online
Right.
for it to.
And the difference
to
is, when GTA Online was building up, there wasn't some other thing to go to for fans. Like, they had to either go to GTA Online or nothing. Here with Red Dead Online, well, we could just go play GTA Online, and yeah, so we have that as an option. That seemed to hurt Red Dead Online.
It also feels like they really didn't, like, Rockstar didn't do not the work, but like, they didn't put in the effort to kind of give it kind of the shots in the arms that it would have done.
Right.
That it did for like GTA. Like, it didn't have to do much though. It worked on they didn't have to do much with GTA Online. Like, they just kind of like plugged away at it and added content and tweaked some things here and there and gave some players what they had been asking for, and over time it became good. I feel like most other services or games experiences like this from other companies would get one or two like major updates to see how it goes. But like, we didn't see a Halloween themed Undead Nightmare event or anything like that to kind of like juice the numbers and kind of show what they could do with it. It was just kind of like, here, this game, here is a foundation of it, here's how you play it, and that's it. And then they released some packs and some other money making kind of updates, and then it kind of just, that was it. And I think like the problems that it had to begin with weren't resolved. As far as I remember, there was a whole like thing around the gold and the economy and that kind of stuff that was like a mess to begin with. They just didn't return to or fix or anything like that. At least not when I was like keeping an eye on it. And it's just kind of fizzled away. And it makes perfect sense that they would be like, yeah, we're done with this. This shit is over.
Yes. I agree. Like, at a certain point, it's like, you have to split your resources in such a way that it's like, what makes the most sense for us in the 5 years from now? What do we wish we would have invested in today, 5 years from now? And they're going to say GTA 6 and GTA Online over Red Dead Online in every situation when it comes to that. So, yeah, I know people really liked a lot of stuff that Red Dead Online was doing, but it was just like, it was going to be so much work to get that up to speed. And at a certain point, that's just not worth it. Elden Ring's Let Me Solo Her gets a real sword from Bandai Namco by Grace Benfell at GameSpot. Elden Ring's most famous cooperative player, Let Me Solo Her, was gifted a massive box set from Bandai Namco and From Software, including a sword. Let Me Solo Her, who goes by Tsusobi Klein on Twitter, posted pictures of the gift box alongside a thank you note to Bandai Namco, the Elden Ring team, and the Soulsborne community. He said that he almost quit his first Souls experience, Dark Souls 3, during the fight with Ludex Gundyr? How do I say that?
Ludex Gundyr, I think that is.
Ludex Gundyr. But that he is glad he persisted because this community is one of the most passionate and dedicated group of people I've ever seen in gaming, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Have you seen this sword, Tam? It's pretty good stuff.
I think it's actually a sword that they sent out to a bunch of influencers. So it's not like a sword that they created specifically for him. I would, if they did that, they would have to be creating dual katanas for him, because that's what he wields in game.
Right.
But yeah, I think I saw a bunch of influencers get this sword. Not me though. They didn't give me the sword.
This is it's Millennia's sword. Is that how you say her name? Millennia?
Is that her sword? I don't remember her having that sword.
That's okay. Okay. Let me see here. Let me read here. It says the box itself features a wooden sculpted portrait of. Okay, it says a portrait of Millennia, a massive poster map of Limgrave, a cloak similar to the one Melina wears in the game, a note from Bandai Namco featuring an adorable sketch of Let Me Solo Her's in-game character, and a sword with the text "Rise" tarnished on the blade. So it's just a generic sword, I think, but one of the ones you can pick up in the game. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's very cool that they did this. I'm glad they reached out to him. This has been like a fun story within the Elden
Yes.
Ring community. Like, let me solo her, and like it's good to see Bandai Namco from Software kind of like recognizing that the people in the community and kind of talking to them and interfacing with them and being aware of what's going on. I'm happy for this person. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, this kind of player makes the entire community better. It gives us like a hero story to root for and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that makes being part of a community better. So I'm glad that they're rewarding them.
And it's resulted in some really fun stuff as well. Like I was playing and I went to the boss area outside of Millennia, and someone let me solo myself the other day. And this person dressed exactly like Let Me Solo Her proceeded to run into the battle and then kill himself. And I was like, that's good. I like that. That was good.
That's very fun. That's good stuff.
So there's like loads of spin-off Let Me Solos, and you can go most boss fights that are tricky in Elden Ring. If you go there, you'll have a variant of Let Me Solo Her there.
Good
like
stuff.
that isn't the actual person, and it's just fun. It's cute. Like it's good.
That's exactly right. It's cute. It's cool to be like a part of it and and to follow the story as it expands and stuff. It's good stuff. Quest 2 will no longer require a Facebook account from starting next month. It's by David Heaney at Upload VR. Meta headsets will no longer require a Facebook account from next month. In August, Meta will begin rolling out Meta accounts, which can be used to set up Meta headsets. You'll still be able to link your Facebook account to your Meta account to message and call Facebook friends from inside VR. This is no longer required. So it's a little bit of a, what's the difference here? Because you don't need a Facebook account, but you will still need a Meta account, Meta being the parent company of Facebook.
So either way, Facebook is having your data. Like
exactly.
But oh my God, it's bizarre. I hate opening my Quest and having like my Facebook friends in Messenger popping up. I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying to escape this horrible reality, not have my Facebook friends following me around, being like, "Hey, look at this!" Right,
and it's like, here's a little bit of a graphic that tries to explain it. It's like, so the Meta Horizon profile will have your username, profile name, profile photo, avatar, and activity status. And then optional will be your real name, policy from Facebook, and social media profile. I think, yes, this still stinks, but as long as I can just make sure I cut off the Facebook stuff so I don't see those people, I don't see a weird uncle posting stuff about Donald Trump in there, then I will be much happier with this, even if it is effectively still the same thing when it comes to who I'm sharing my data with. Yeah, absolutely. That'll come next month. I will choose the option to cut off Facebook when given it. Absolutely. The website I never ever log into anymore. I have not. I only ever do it when I need it for I think I connected my Spotify account to Facebook once upon a time, so I need to log into that to get into Spotify or whatever.
I did this thing which was really satisfying where I slowly stripped all my information away from Facebook, where you remove all of your interests, you remove all of your tags, you start deleting your photos, and you just pair it back to an incredibly bare bones profile where the algorithm doesn't know what to do. So it's just basically, it's really fun because it just starts begging you to look at it at certain points.
Yes.
So it just started being like, hey, your friend is doing stuff. And I was like, no. And it's just it's hilarious. I do log in every now and then just to look at my memories because obviously there was a time when I did use it, and it's just me being like, there's I don't know what my last memory is. I'm tempted to bring it up and see what was going on, but it's usually me watching some sort of TV show or playing some sort of video game and being like, I'm doing this video game. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's look at,
I'm having lunch, everybody. I'm having lunch. Gonna watch anime later. Yeah.
My memories for today are a picture of my cat.
Yep. That's about right.
Yeah. I posted Chance the Rapper and Absol's Smoke Again Blended Babies remix.
Of course.
Yeah, I posted a picture of Solid Snake because that is what I do apparently. And that is it. Pointless. Shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Inscryption is coming to PlayStation consoles by Louis Gutierrez. This is at GameSpot. Daniel Mullins, the creator of Inscryption, has confirmed that the card-based roguelike is coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Mullins shared the announcement on the PlayStation blog. through a release date, though a release date has yet to be revealed. Inscryption was previously released on PC back in October 2021 and had recently been released for both Mac and Linux. PlayStation users will also receive exclusive features in-game, including a talking Stoat card that will play audio from your controller. In addition to the Stoat card, haptic feedback will be implemented to give a more immersive experience. I gotta say, Tam, something about the idea of the card that I'm holding in my hand actually speaking through my hand is one of the first times like that speaker really like the idea of something only coming out of the speaker is like super appealing to me. But I don't know. Beyond that, yeah. Hey, Inscryption's a good game. More people should play that.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I never completed it. I got stuck in I did the card phase of it.
Right.
I was stuck in the card phase of it. I did some fights that felt really cheap, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Right now, but I think I'm gonna go back to it when it comes out on. Weirdly, it feels like this is gonna make no sense, but I get a cozy game vibe from Inscryption. It doesn't make sense, but I don't like being at my computer and like playing that game. I want to be like on a couch, big TV, lights off, under a blanket, and like build a vibe. If you know what I mean.
Well, I think it's like actually being in the cabin in game almost makes me want to like go to a cabin and play it on like a Steam Deck or something.
There needs to be some sort of phrase that is cozy game, but designed for people who want to be spooked by a game, like spooky cozy game. That's what I want. I want to be like, I want the ambience of Inscryption as well as the kind of thing happening on screen. So this makes this is exciting for me because then I know that I can download it on my PS5 and like play it in my actual like theater style setup instead of a PC at a desk kind of cozy. So
yeah, and I'm glad more people get a chance to play it. It's a game I loved a lot when I was first playing it, and sort of fell out of love a little bit as time went on, but it's still a really good game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nintendo is adding Pokemon Puzzle League to Switch Online's Nintendo 64 library next week. On July 15th, it'll hit there. This is the first game that they've released after getting through that schedule of games that they previously announced. So what was the last one? Pokemon Snap. That was the last game of like, hey, we're going to put out a bunch of games. Here's the list. Then after a certain point, they had no more games left. Well, they're going to keep up with this schedule of one Nintendo 64 game per month. It seems like, based on the fact that they're releasing this month. I love Pokemon Puzzle League, so I'm glad that it'll get a chance. I think online play, like 2-player support, head-to-head play, that sounds super fun, and I'm going to spend a lot of time with that, actually, I think.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good game for people to get excited about. I've not been paying close attention to the Switch Online kind of like N64 stuff, but I should go back to it and dip in and see.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff added, but like there's still like a lot of big gaps, like 1080 snowboarding and wave race and Excite Bike 64, and a lot of that stuff is still not on there. So I'm hoping that they announce soon that they have all those games coming. I hope they figure that out. Those games have been on like Virtual Console before, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Pokemon Puzzle League, looking at it just makes me miss Columns. Do you remember Columns?
Oh yeah, I played a lot of Columns on Genesis with my friend at his house. Yeah,
that was a hell of a game.
That's a good game. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium are adding a grip of games before the end of the month. This is according to a leaker, Blackbait on Reset Era. The games include Crash Bandicoot 4, Arcadegeddon, Man of Medan, Stray, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Integrate Plus Intermission, AC, and the various Assassin's Creed games, Black Flag, Unity, Rogue Remastered, Freedom Cry, the Azio Collection, and then Saints Row 4 Reelected. It was the Ezio. There we go. Ezio Collection. Yeah. I'm like, what the? Like, that name's not right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was hopeful that they would add a bunch of games. I still kind of need to hear what they're going to add in terms of the classic games, though. That's where I'm like, okay, listen, this is awesome. They are doing a great job with their new games that they're adding here. Crash Bandicoot 4, Stray coming on what seems like day one or something. That stuff is fantastic, but I still want them to beef up their classic options.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely need way more classic. Like that stuff, that classic, all those classic games came out, and I just didn't care about any of them. Like,
there's only a handful that I'd be like really excited to try, and I'm like, I'll just play them some other way on my Steam Deck or whatever.
I despite what despite my history with it and my love of it back then, I've got zero interest in playing Siphon Filter again. And like that was like everything else. I'm just like, okay, that's fine.
Yep, and it's like there's like only one game from the PSP and stuff like that. There's a ton more they could add, and hopefully they add about this number of games getting added to the new games. I hope that they would get about this many for the classic games as well. That would be fantastic. Meanwhile, people are freaking out at Jeff Keighley because they're like, oh, are you moving the date around to ensure that God of War Ragnarok gets a chance to be in its Game of the Year this year? Ragnarok is launching the same day that Forza Horizon 5 did last year, and Forza Horizon 5 was not nominated for Game of the Year, and people were like, hey, how dare that happen? And Ragnarok almost certainly will be. The problem here is that I think that people are overlooking is that Ragnarok is the kind of game that people know might be a Game of the Year, so everyone's going to play it immediately with that in mind, of being like, hey, we got to nominate stuff for Game of the Year. Do you want to nominate Ragnarok? And it's a very easy path of like getting in there. Where like Forza Horizon 5 being a racing game, it had an uphill battle no matter what. Like maybe it was worthy of being nominated for Game of the Year, but it would have required some time to sort of make sure like that word of mouth spread among the people who had a chance to nominate it, and it didn't have time to do that for sure. It was nominated for a racing game though, and racing and sports game, I think, and I think it won. So it's like it definitely had a chance, but it's not like Ragnarok, which like it almost is guaranteed to be nominated, sort of, even if it comes out at the very last minute. But Tam, though, does any of this matter really? Because Elden Ring's just kind of got it sewn up, right?
So wait, for clarity, why are people mad at Jeff about this?
Because they were under the impression that like, oh, he moved the date around of when you can nominate a game for the Game Awards. But he did not. It's the same thing. It's just that there's this like weird squishy period, I think, where like things can get in, you can update your ballot or whatever, or however it works. But like, so it was the same date as last year. Nothing changed, but Xbox fans are basically mad, being like, you are favoring Sony by giving them more time. And he's definitely not. Yes, you get it now. Yes, you get it now. Yes, he's not doing that. That's not what's happening here. Yes.
Okay, the Xbox crazies are being crazy. Okay,
yes.
Cool. I was like, what are the PlayStation crazies doing?
No, this one's not the PlayStation crazies. This is the Xbox crazy.
Gotcha. First of all of you touch grass. Calm down. Leave Jeff alone. Just relax.
It's like one Game Awards show. I don't know why people kind of take it so seriously. Yeah.
Ask anyone who's like working on those games whether they care, and
ask people who vote on them like how much time you put into it. Like 5 minutes before lunch one day. Like that's like it's not that serious. Like it's not what anyone even watches that show for. So yeah.
I mean, like, this is the year of Elden Ring. I still think that. Obviously, like I for me, like everyone, the Elden Ring is the game to beat this year, right? But I still think that there's a lot of potential for other games to kind of sneak in and challenge it. I think God of War is one that definitely has the potential. Like that game, I think, is gonna be good. Like even if they put out a game that is like just as good as the first entry in this new series, that's still a pretty fucking great game, man. And like I'm excited to play it, but it makes perfect sense. I think, like you said, like when that's a game that once it's available to people who are going to have some sort of like input into this, and generally like the broader public, they're going to play through it as quickly as possible. Like no one's like meandering and kind of having a nice leisurely playthrough of God of War at a time if they think that they're going to have, if they want to vote for this stuff or have any input in this stuff. There are also like a bunch of other games that still, for me, I like, for me, obviously Elden Ring is currently my game of the year, but I'm not 100% settled. I'm still looking at games like God of War and Callisto Protocol to be like, are you game of the year material? We'll see. And then there's stuff like Neon White is out there, which is like, that is there's a good argument to be made for that being game of the year.
I think Neon White gets a nomination based on the momentum it has right now. Yeah.
There's honestly, there's a good argument for Vampire Survivors to be a game of the year contender. And for different reasons. Like I think that game is incredible, and it's like just probably not on a lot of people's radars, but I think it's like in my list it's up there. And there's a bunch of other games as well that I'm probably blanking on right now that are worth considering. But I think it's people in terms of what's going on here, like people just need to relax, chill, it'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. And the thing I always say, it's like game of the year is just about like like having conversations that about games you like, and so seek those conversations out, and don't worry so much about what's going to happen at the Keeleys. Like you can just have conversations with your friends instead, and you guys decide what is your own favorite game of the year. Go find a Discord and have your own personal game of the year discussion. That'll be way better use of your time than getting, fretting about what's going to happen with a bunch of, journalists voting on their other award show that isn't their own award show. Like it's just not that important.
Yeah.
Let's get to the poll from yesterday. See, do you want to go to an E3 that is more like a PAX? This one split right down the middle. 49.8% said yes. 50.2% said no. I think I get this because I think that there's a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, that like if it's more entertaining for the public, it'll be a better use of my budget or whatever. But I think the people saying no are like probably pointing out pretty wisely that it's going to be more expensive to go to an LA PAX, and probably also inherently more disappointing just because of the layout and because it's serving two masters. Why not just go to a proper PAX and get a better bang for your buck? I think that's probably the thing that makes the most sense. What do you think, Tam?
Yeah, I think you're right. I just don't know what this new one's. I'm excited that ReedPop is behind it because I've got way more confidence in ReedPop doing something with it.
Yes.
I don't know if we need another. My concern is I don't want E3 to feel like PAX. I know a lot of people are like, oh, great, this will be more like PAX. That's the last thing I want, man. Like E3, like everything feels like PAX right now. PAX is like 700 million PAXs at this point. PAX, if you're a state in America, you've got a PAX. But like, I want ReedPop to look at what E3 was and create something distinct for it and make it its own thing. Like, and sadly, like I feel doing that is also kind of like exclusionary because that means like keeping the public out or like having public days and business days and that kind of stuff. But I genuinely want a E3 to be something else other than PAX. I don't want to go to an E3 that's more like PAX. I will go to it because it's my job, and also I'm a fool and I will go to it. But if I had the option, like I would love to see them go with something different and like a little more classical. But the classical feeling E3 requires buy-in from a lot of other stakeholders that probably have other ideas right now, whether that's doing their own thing. Like I would be surprised if Sony's like, we're gonna do a live press conference again, and we're gonna invite people in, and same for Microsoft. I feel like everyone's just like, sure, we're probably not going to be involved. Like, how involved is Sony and Microsoft and all these others in PAX? Not that involved, right? There's a lot of the publisher level, developer level stuff happening, not platform holder level.
I think like ReedPop makes some sense for some of that stuff because their bread is not buttered by getting $150,000 from like small publishers and $250,000 for a booth space from Sony or whatever. They can make money by selling tickets directly to consumers, but then it's like flipping that incentive structure on its head. It's going to inherently change who the show needs to be for. And listen, I only say this because there are enough PAXs to serve everybody. We kind of need a show for business to get done and for us to go and meet with publishers and have that direct line of communication and be able to figure out what they're working on and like where their headspace is at. And we'll figure out a way to make that happen at any E3 that is like a PAX. We'll figure it out. We're paid to do so, but still.
I think the important thing to mention is the dirty little secret of E3 is, as a consumer experience for you as a person coming in, for gamers coming in, it's not good for you. Like, I know you might hear people say, oh, we need this for business, and be like, that sucks. We want players to be gamers to be in there. I agree, but let me tell you, it's not a good time, like, for you. Because I remember being one of those people. Like, I didn't go to E3, but I was around and I did line up and see what it was like. It sucks because you line up for so long, and then you play a slice of a demo that largely is created for like to show off to journalists, and it's not fun. Like it's like you're playing for a couple minutes, you've lined up for hours, and you can't really hear, and you don't know what is going on, and you won't get a good grasp of the game, usually those things are created. So it's like you play a small chunk of the game and then you talk to a developer and they create it for the press. And that kind of like 1-2 punch of playing the game and then speaking to the developer
Yes.
is what gives you a better kind of a better indication of what this game is that you then can like report on or do content around. But with missing the talk to the developer part of it, it feels kind of like a waste. Like I've never played a demo outside of maybe Street Fighter 4, which was in a completely different kind of like scenario. I never played, lined up for a demo and came away and felt good about everything. I was just like, okay, was that worth lining up for 3 hours? Like the popular games, like if let's say if you line up to play a God of War Ragnarok, you're lining up minimum 4 hours, like 3 to 4 hours, and then you're playing 5 minutes of a game.
Yep,
Like,
and it's really hard to it's really hard to like find the value in that. Absolutely,
yeah, and that's why it's like we should just keep it like business related and let the other stuff happen elsewhere.
The poll for Monday: which is more likely to win the Keighley Game of the Year this year, Elden Ring or any other game that came out this year? So you have Elden Ring versus The Field. We're doing the old Dan Patrick thing where they do Tiger Woods versus The Field. So
are people going to know what The Field is?
I put it in the like Elden Ring or any other game that came out this year. I suppose you're thinking, yeah, you're right, because I capitalized it.
Here's the thing, as a Twitter power user, what I'm saying here is you're limiting your audience.
Yes. Okay. So Elden Ring versus any other game. Any other game. Fine, Tam. You know what you're talking about.
This is how you improve your interactions.
Listen, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying I resent you being right. That's all. All right, let's see. All right, that's going out for everybody. We will talk about that on Monday. I'm looking forward to it. Tam, we got a weekend coming out, but we have still some stuff happening on Friday. Here's our list for today. We just finished Game Mess mornings. We have Unprofessional Fridays, and there should be a DNF duel quick look going up. Did you guys get that done?
We filmed one and there was a problem with the footage or the audio, so we're going to try and do another one today.
Right.
Hopefully we'll be able to do that today. It's been real tricky with DNF because Jason's got a lot going on, I've got a lot going on, and we've been trying to find the right timing. Hopefully today. If not, please don't hate us for it.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
We'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got the neon white open. Did you watch that shit? It was insane. It was amazing. Like,
you don't need to watch that. I wouldn't watch that.
Go and watch that. It was great.
I wouldn't. It wasn't very good. I wouldn't watch that anybody. Nothing interesting happened. No one was embarrassed in their skills or anything like that. So yeah. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. We'll be back with you for more on Monday and for the rest of the next week. Please look forward to that. Let's get out of here. Thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. You're the best audience of gaming. It makes it easy to make the best show in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.